we have to use the t-score or the critical.
Yeah, you have to find the z-score on this thing.
So for 17, I would have to find the z-score.
Yeah, so your z-score is equal to what? X minus mu over sigma, right? You remember that? So whatever that is, so it's going to be, like this is called a phi table, phi of g. So this g value comes in here. And oh, it says greater than, right?
Yeah.
What happens if it's greater than? You remember? Do you have a greater than curve in there, or you have to look at the list and then subtract it?
Look at the list.
So it's going to be, so if it's greater than, it's going to be 1 minus p of x less than 15.2. Right? Do you know that? Let me write it. Like, should I write it here? Let me write it here. 17. Number 17. Your mu is 15.2, your sigma is 0.9, you have to find probability of x greater than 15.2. To do that, first you can, always, you have to, if there is a greater than sign, you have to change this to less than sign, okay? So if there is a greater than sign, to change it to less than, you have to subtract from 1. 1 minus x is less than 15.2. You understand this?
Say that again one more time.
If there is a greater than sign on a question, if it asks you to find a probability of something greater than something, right? You have to change it to less than x. If it asks you to find something is greater than x, you have to change it to less than x. And to change, you do 1 minus. And the reason you do 1 minus is, this is your normal curve, right? Right? Mm-hmm. The total area of this normal curve is 1, right? So if you are looking at, say, this is your x, right? Say this is your x. And x is greater than 15.2, right? So let's say this is 15.2, right? Say this is 15.2. So what area is it, is it asking you to find? It's asking you to find this area, right? Because it's greater. But what do you, but the z-score only tells you the area this side. It doesn't tell you the area on this side. So to get this area using this side, what do you have to do? Since the total area is 1, if you do 1 minus this area, it's going to be 1 minus this area, sorry. 1 minus this area is going to be this area.
So it's going to be 15.2.
No. This is not, okay, this is 1 minus, you have to find the z-score. Z-score is what? X minus mu. So x is what? 15.2 is your x minus mu is 15.2. This is both the same? Are these both 15.2?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so it's going to be 0, right?
Yeah.
So g of phi of 0. 1 minus phi of 0 is 1 minus 0.5, it is 0.5. 0.5 is the answer. Is there 0.5 in there? Yeah. But see, I have to tell you the greater and the less thing. Let me use this. You understand this, right? This one, the previous one had the z-score. This one didn't have a z-score. You had to get the z-score and then use it on the table to find the value, right? You understand it?
Yeah.
This is the z-score. Z-score and g equals to x minus mu over sigma. Why is it not right there?
Need another one?
Do you have another one?
I have a lot.
Okay, let's use a little bit this side. Okay, say this is your probability curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you have a let's look at the G-score, like directly at the G-score. Let's say it asks you to find the probability of X greater than 0.05, okay? So this is like the G-score, it's already given in this problem. It's like the last problem we did. But instead of less than, it's greater than. So to do this, what do you have to do? You have to do 1 minus P of X less than 0.05, right?
Yeah.
You remember that. And then if the G-score is negative, if G-score is negative, what do you have to do to make it positive? You have to do 1 minus P of G. 1 minus whatever area you get. Like do you remember that or not? If it says like find probability of X less than minus 0.5. If it says that, if this is your G-score, what you have to do is, this is like, you have to look at the, you have the negative table, so you can look at the negative table. You can look at the negative table, or you can do 1 minus, like, phi of 0.5. You can look at the positive table and subtract it from 1. You can do anything, both the things work. Okay? So let's go to the next problem. Well, if it's greater than, you have to subtract it by 1, if it's greater than.
Okay.
What's the next problem?
We're looking at 18. It says solve the problem. Assume that the women's height, this is like standard deviation. The women's heights are normally distributed between the mean of 63.6 inches and a standard deviation of 2.5 inches. If 90 women are randomly selected, find the probability that they...
Is it 90% or 90? 90?
90%.
You know, it's just 90. If 90 women are randomly selected, what?
90 women are randomly selected. Find the probability that they have a mean height between 6.2 inches and 64.0 inches. 64.0 inches. I remember this. This is like the beginning of the chapter. This is like
It's in between what?
62 inches, 62.9 inches, and 64.
62.9 and 64 inches, right?
Yeah.
So you have mu sigma, you have x. So it's saying you to find your mean height is between 16.2.9 and 64, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, what do you do? But these are not the G scores though. You remember when they give you like mu and sigma, right? If they give you the mean and standard deviation, you have to find the G score. This is your x. This is not the G value. This is the x, right? And how do you find the G score?
Well, you have to go to the Z table.
No. First you find the G score by this, and then you have to go to the G table.
So if I do the formula first, ZX minus mu
G
divided by
x minus mu divided
by sigma.
That's a formula to find G value. So if it's like this one, these are what? X. These are X. Right? Okay. This is there. Okay, let's look at this. It says X is between 62.9 and 64, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do in this case? In this case, you do probability of 64 minus probability of 62.9. So this is the higher, right? So this is telling you that, you say this is a normal curve. We want it between 62.9 to 64. It has to fall between these values. So this is our area. That's what we need, right? Your mean is like 63.6. This is like 63.6. So you want to find what is the probability of falling in between these two. Like what is the probability of this area? Before, this was asking. So your G score was what, 0, right? So the 0, what was the mean? The mean was 15.2. asking how much is it greater than. So this was asking this area, right? It says greater than, right? Greater than. So it was asking this area. This says it's between these two areas. So it's greater than. It's greater than 62.9. It's greater than this, and it's less than this, right? So if something like this comes up, the way to approach this